Welcome to Pro Practice, your guide to piano mastery. I'm Josh Wright, and today's tutorial is based on the third movement of Piano Sonata No. 21 in C major, Opus 53 by Beethoven. This is part 2 in a series of 2 tutorials covering this third movement, Rondo. Last tutorial, part 1, we ended on the strong cadence here in 220, and now we will go from 221 through the end of the piece. Today is going to be packed full of information on interpretation, technical tricks. We're going to be dealing with those octave glissandos, glissandi. We will be going over some fingering in the tricky coda passage, the marked Prestissimo. That is a very tough passage. This is a newer piece for me. I've only been working on this over the last several months and recently gave my first performance of it last week. By the time this tutorial comes out, it will have been several weeks back. However, I have had so much fun, and it has been so insightful to work on this amazing piece, one of the most highly requested pieces on this channel ever. And we've covered the first and second movement, and so this is the 5th in a series of 5 tutorials covering this entire sonata. So if you've been joining me for the other movements, I hope you've enjoyed those tutorials, and I'm excited to finish off this sonata today with this part 2 tutorial. All right, let's dive into 221. So Beethoven right away throws us into the key of A flat major after a C major cadence, after all this. So ambiguous, and then of all places to go, the flat 6. What a crazy place to go. And then he also teases us by marking fortissimo, sforzando, and then down to piano. And then a slight rest, and then just a quarter rest, 1, 2, and then we go to F minor. So we're seeing little remnants of that. And then D flat major, the flat 2, which in the first movement had a significant role at the end of that piece as well. So this D flat major is triumphant, but it is a very distant key. So I personally like to take a little bit more time when I get to the D flat major, and I also do something different with voicing. So A flat major, F minor, I'm big throughout all the voices. Of course, I'm still voicing the top. Then, just so they didn't sound identical, I went, and then this one I take a touch of time to get there, and I really voice the top. So, that's a little weak, sorry. Really voicing that top. I think what that does is it gives a timbre change or a tone color change. And then think of this as level 3. And then this is level 2. And then this is level 1. And then even softer, so maybe level 1/2 when we get to this gorgeous sequence. One of my favorite moments of the entire sonata, not just this movement, but I love sequences, and this one is especially special. I know that's a lame, especially special, but it really is quite magical. To E flat minor, so we're in D flat major. Again, a very weird key for the key of C major. Going to E flat minor, And then we have this sempre pianissimo. So I just want you to come at this passage, this particular section we're discussing, with a lot of reverence and respect and creativity. It's really easy to see those fortissimos going to pianos and just be brash on the fortissimos and then so quiet on the pianos. I think that, of course, we want to be big and then contrast it, but each one can have a different meaning. This one, to me, feels a little bit more bold. This one's a little bit more revenge filled. And then this one rises above. This is more mature and joyful. And then don't come down to nothing yet. It has to be a well-paced decrescendo. So piano, you might even think mezzo piano there. And then piano, and then pianissimo. Don't slow down too much. What I had a tendency to do is, and then I lost some of my tempo. So don't fall into that trap. It's really easy to get very precious and so colorful here with the sound that pretty soon you've lost your tempo. So I don't think that it needs to be even. I think you can still breathe, but then pick it back up. And by the way, so far as voicing and shape in here, this kind of dies away. And then anytime I make a move to there, and then this is softer. To there. So whenever it's stagnant, don't overdo it. It's really easy to sound vertical in this section. Like, even if you're really soft, it's really easy to sound ordinary like that. Still full of beauty, full of feeling. And I just love that A flat major to A flat minor via the C flat. Such a beautiful harmony change. And it's very interesting how he places those sforzandos. They really do create a lot of harmonic tension and rhythmic tension. So, and then resolve, and then even softer. So I would probably say, hey, we've been crescendoing. So maybe we're up to like a mezzo forte in here, or mezzo piano, and this one's mezzo forte, and then go back down to mezzo piano, and then piano. So I wouldn't go and fall off a cliff, because then it's going to be too startling. This one's the biggest. This one's quite a bit softer, and then this is even softer. I would do that for every one of them. That wasn't quite what I wanted. Let's try that again. And I always take, because he's kind of going back and forth between and then he finally settles on that. At the end, I will push a little bit in bar 248 up into 249 and then back off. So something like this. Just so it has a little flavor rather than just kind of boring like that. So a little more, and then very soft. I like to crescendo to that one and then drop back down to pianissimo. He writes sempre pianissimo. So you can get by with just playing all soft. I think it's boring, though, if you do that. So up a little, back down, and then up, and then back off. A few words about the mechanics of this. This is not that easy of a place to play. You might think, oh, these are just major 7 triads here. This one's not major 7. This would be major 7. But a quick word about the mechanics. I like to have slightly more spread out hands and flatter hands. And I will use a combination of this wave rotation, kind of this semicircle rotation. And then at the end, I also do a doorknob type turn. What most students do is they do wave, and then they usually accent by having to shift the hand back like that. If you do the wave, but then you, at the end, turn like a doorknob, look, your thumb is right there. You can probably see it better on the overhead cam. It's just sitting right there, perfect. And then you just open the hand back up. And as you come down, the hand just folds over. Notice I'm not really curved, because then I have to re-extend to hit the notes, or at least it feels like that to me. So I always want to be taking the keys slightly. So it feels very intimate. It's not, a really lively texture like you may want on that Chopin Etude Opus 25 number 2. I usually demonstrate with that as like a really lively example. I like more... I'm still fairly curved. You can see I'm not like that, keeping my wrist way down and doing that. I allow the wrist to come up and down as needed. And if you want to, you could come up and then die back down on that one.